Hey everyone, let's talk about something serious unfolding right now, today, April 6, 2025, concerning the US and China. I've been digging into recent reports, and honestly, the situation feels like it's shifted from a tense standoff into something much more volatile. What happens when the world's two biggest economies effectively stop talking and start hitting back hard? Okay, quick heads up. I'm piecing this together based on recent news reports analyzing the US-China situation. Current as of today, April 6, 2025, international relations are incredibly complex, often with layers unseen publicly. This is my interpretation based on the available information. It wasn't always like this, even in the recent past under this hypothetical second Trump term. Reports suggest that in the initial months, Beijing was actually trying to figure things out, trying to open lines of communication with the new administration in Washington. They sent envoys. Their foreign minister apparently sought meetings. But hit brick walls. Closed doors, as the reports put it. Meanwhile, despite tough campaign talk, Trump initially held off on massive China-specific actions. There was maybe a sliver of hope in Beijing for finding some kind of deal, maybe centered on buying more American goods, more investment, but that hope seems to have completely evaporated. First came rounds of 10% tariffs from Trump. China's response back then, relatively cautious, measured. Then, just this past week, the shocker, Trump reportedly slapped an additional 34% tariff on Chinese goods. Suddenly, the average US tariff rate on Chinese products skyrockets. Some analysts estimate it hit a staggering 76%, including older levies. That's described as more than 20 times what it was before the first trade war started back in 2018. And Beijing's reaction this time, coming just this past Friday, night and day compared to before. No more restraint. They matched the 34% tariff increase. And crucially, reports say this time it applies to all US goods. No exceptions at first, but they didn't stop there. They hit back where it hurts, immediately restricting exports of critical rare earth minerals vital for US tech and defense. They reportedly added US companies to trade blacklists and even launched an antitrust probe into DuPont China. This wasn't just tit-for-tat anymore. This felt like Beijing deciding the waiting game was over and it was time to deploy its own weapons in this trade war. Was Trump's maximum pressure intended to force a deal, or did it fundamentally miscalculate Beijing's reaction, pushing them past a point of no return? You hear analysts and even officials in Beijing now using the term strategic decoupling, that phrase, famously associated with Trump's first-term trade representative, sends a chill down your spine. Are we genuinely witnessing the beginning of an intentional, painful unwinding of the economic ties between the US and China? From my perspective, looking at the sheer scale of the tariffs now, China's multi-pronged retaliation, Trump's defiant they panicked response, and critically, the reported total lack of communication channels. The risk feels terrifyingly real. It feels less like tough negotiation tactics now and more like both sides digging trenches for a prolonged economic conflict. The reports paint a fascinating contrast in leadership styles, too. Trump's strategy described as mixing maximum pressure with unpredictable diplomatic moves, seeing leverage and engagement as going hand in hand. Xi Jinping, on the other hand, is portrayed as methodical, risk-averse, prioritizing discipline and delay, careful not to appear too eager for a deal. Even when facing pressure, it's like watching two fundamentally different philosophies collide on the world stage. Does this inherent difference in approach, this clash of styles, make finding common ground, let alone a negotiated solution, almost impossible right now? How can talks even begin when communication lines are dead and trust seems non-existent? With both sides seemingly locked in a cycle of retaliation and the communication bridges apparently down, it's incredibly hard to see an easy off-ramp. The potential economic fallout globally is immense, let alone the geopolitical implications. So what do you think lies ahead in this US-China relationship? Are we stuck in this escalating conflict, hurtling towards decoupling, or is there still a hidden path, a chance for diplomacy to somehow pull things back from the brink before it gets even worse? This feels like a truly critical moment, and honestly, the lack of dialogue is perhaps the most worrying part of all. Let me know your thoughts on this complex situation.